Evening, folks. Welcome back to the channel. All right, I am a little bit early by 2 hours. Oh, what's up, Patrick? Glad you made it. It says evening, Nikki and everyone. Hope you're all good. Looking forward to this. Yeah, me too. Yeah, doing pretty good. Just, I don't know, man. It could be maybe 5 degrees warmer up this time of year, but it's not raining. That's okay. It's all right. I am early because Frank does have it scheduled that he's going to be going live at 7 p.m. for just for an hour, he said, for the jamboree he has going on. So I want to make sure I can get a full 2 hours in before that. Theoretically, it will be 2 hours of me and then right on into, quite frankly, for you guys. So you can just have at least, 3 hours of entertainment right there. Now I'm thirsty. I wasn't thirsty before, but suddenly I've got cotton mouth. I'm sober. I'm sober. So yeah, that's what's going on there. And then tomorrow I am just going to be live at the regular time at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Frank does have something scheduled to go up on Saturday, but that's for the members only. I'm not one of those members. So I usually do a Saturday show anyway, so that's just how that's gonna go. And it might say 6 p.m., but again, for him 6 p.m. tomorrow. But again, it's nothing that's gonna come up in my notifications. I'm not gonna get a email or a linked email to me, so that's just something. It's as if it's on a channel that I don't follow, so it doesn't have any. I'm not involved with that. So if this overlaps with that tomorrow, sorry about that. I'll still do a full 2 hour show, and you can always come back and watch either one of them. Oh, what's up, Erica? Glad you made it. Everybody, come on in, get comfy real quick. Kind of let my eyes get used to the light a little bit too, and then we'll get into some dark shadows. What did I say? I screwed up yesterday. I watched my own show back. As far as Minecraft videos go, I just wish they were separated from between Java and Bedrock. I don't know why I said alpha. That's before me. I don't get into different versions of the game, but it's just I want to look up information, and there's sites for Bedrock only. I play on Java, so it might not even apply. I'm not gonna watch a video that's gonna completely waste my time for tips and tricks. It's enough to get into one version of the game, one current version of the game, let alone the history of it. Patrick said we had a fairly nice day, but chilly night now. Yeah, like the days are pretty okay, pretty just mild, like tame fall weather. We don't have like leaves. It's not like we have trees around anyway, but it's not like there's like piles of leaves like in yards and things like that. It's too early for that. But at night, you definitely have to close your window. It's getting down into the like 15 Celsius, which is maybe 60 Fahrenheit. That's way too cold. If it's 60 degrees in somewhere like Florida or California, people can literally die of frostbite. So that's how cold that is. Erica said it hit 50 or 50, goodness, 80 Fahrenheit, but it'll drop tonight. 80's not bad. 80's pretty good. I can deal with 80 because if it's 80 outside, it's a good 5 degrees cooler, and I'm mostly in the bedroom watching YouTube all day, so keeps it pretty cool. That's good. At least we're not getting a super like soggy early fall. That's when it's just depressing. I hate to see wet leaves. They're dangerous as hell to walk on and drive on too, but like I just hate to see it. That's just in my mind. That's something that should not be wet. It's dead. It doesn't need moisture to just let it go. Let it deteriorate. Oh, cool. Erica said, doing good. My neighbor stopped by with his German Shepherd. Biscuit time. Oh, hell yeah. Dude. I was thinking about some biscuits earlier. I was so pissed off on Monday. For a while before on Monday, I was just out of the blue. You just think about something, and I was thinking about the first Back to the Future when George is trying to like sweet talk Lorraine, but he doesn't know what to say. So Marty McFly had him write down all that spoilers for the first Back to the Future, spoilers for a film that came out in 1985. But he writes down all the stuff Marty told him to say, and he's saying it to Lorraine, and just he's nervous and he's sweating and his bad handwriting, so he's just saying whatever, and it doesn't really make sense. And he says something like, "My density has popped me to you," and Lorraine's like, "What?" But I was just thinking that that density line. I don't know why. Haven't watched that movie in years, but that line I was just thinking about it randomly. I'm like, okay, just that happens. Anyway, Monday, I go to the show that I go to on Mondays at 9 p.m. They always play Semantle. I would never play this on my own. I don't care what the robot's thinking about as far as words, but it's different when you're playing a game with your friends. And we're all just trying to, like the guy hosting the show is guessing, us in the chat room are guessing. Sometimes we get it in 2 minutes, sometimes we're there for 30 minutes, and we're like 400 guesses in, and we're like, what could it be? That's how it was. I didn't have my notifications on. I got there late. They were already on Semantle, and they were already like 200 words in. So I'm like, what is this even about? And the guesses were not even anywhere close to even give me any kind of inclination. I don't cheat. I don't look up. I don't have a thesaurus. I just use my own brain. It's that late at night. And everybody's guessing. It's very sciencey. It's words that I just don't know. This is just way too like I didn't go into like that advanced college. Anyway, I get around to it. We're all suggesting words. I thought I had some good words. Other people thought they had good words. People are like, well, it's only been 25 minutes. Let's keep it going. And the host is like, I just want to read this story. I don't want to do this. Not that many words, but he was getting kind of frustrated. It happens sometimes. I think we all were. But the word that Semantle wanted, they already stumbled across the word dense. Dude really typed in density, and that was the word. The same word I've been thinking about for maybe 3 days at that point. I should have said something. I'll speak up. Next time I'm thinking of some stupid random word, I'm just going to say it because it's going to pop up somewhere and I'm going to need it. It just happens like that. Is that a premonition? I don't know, but things like that happen. Like if you're sitting there thinking about like a red car and a green car and a red car and a green car parked next to each other, I'm sure you'll go to a parking lot and see that and be like, what the hell? Just one of those odd little funny coincidences. It's kind of like the thing if you need something from the store, you're kind of maybe thinking about it a little bit too much, but somehow you get to the store, the shelf is clear, and there's one item left, and it's the one you need, and it's not banged up or tore open or nothing. So there you go. It was like that. I could have saved them. I could have said density. I even said that to him. Like I was thinking about that word for days. What is that like? You're when you're have the right answer but you don't know it. Is there a word for that? 14 degrees Celsius there. That's cold. That's close the window weather. Ooh. That's I'm going out in 2 layers. Like I've got thermals under my pants. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt and a hoodie and a scarf and a hat. That is too cold. Especially when you're 98 pounds. That's going right. A lot of other stuff isn't. And then I did notice Frank did go live last night. I wish I would have known about that before I did my show, because it was maybe like 9:30, and I was just unwinding from this. I was not in the right headspace, so I did not catch any of that. It was probably just impromptu, like, hey, we're here, let's just go live. So I'm sure it's nothing that he had, because nothing was on QFTV. He didn't say he was going to be going live yesterday, the day before. So it was just, Patrick, yeah, just shut the balcony door. That's what I got to do when I build the balcony, because I imagine it just completely open. I gotta put doors on that. I haven't built it yet. I'm still trying to decide what to build it out of. Because I found a new block that I like. I don't know what it is. In Minecraft, it's mostly black, but it has some purple in it. And the only place I saw it in nature is in one of those broken nether portals. So it must be some kind of netherite type block. But the thing is, when you place it, it doesn't need to do this, but you place it and you sit it there. I forgot to take a screenshot of it. It's the black and it's the purple like I like. But then all of a sudden there's this extra purple pixel, like the same color of my hat, right off to the side. And then you see another one, and then another one. So it's got like this slow pixel, everything's pixels, animation, purpley particles coming off of it. I don't need that. I don't need the extra movement, but just I never stared at a block so long. It might be my favorite block, and that's in vanilla. But yeah, doors on the balcony, definitely. And then just to be fair, I think I will build that in vanilla. Otherwise, I'll probably just end up using too much purple wood that I found in Biomes of Plenty. I that's not quite. I mean, yeah, I can build it in two different worlds, but I think I'll build the first one in vanilla since I've already got a space decked out and it's facing the right direction. I just need to get the. It's got to be big enough to hold 6,000 people. So I don't know how many blocks that would be. I'm gonna have to seriously do some extra math or cheats to like input blocks into such a. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. I just want it to look the way it looks in my head. Even if there's not a city when you can look out, it's facing the right way. I'm talking too much about something nobody can see. Oh yeah, let's get back into Dark Shadows. And sorry, something about a new Minecraft update. Like, slow down. It's easy to get overwhelmed, but it's you don't have to be that involved with it. It's just to play a video game. But anyway, Dark Shadows, this is going to be episode 13 from July 13th, 1966. And, basically the last 5 episodes, if you didn't catch the last episode. Victoria tried to find out who recommended her for the job, and Liz did not like that. Patrick, the Frankly Get Together, it's going on right now and tomorrow, and also right here in this chat room. And then what does Carolyn do? She thinks she's helping, but she brought the one person nobody wants to see up into Collinwood. And now everybody has to deal with Burke Devlin. As far as like exactly when the Frankly thing's going on, I want to say the ticket said something like 6 to 11 p.m. Maybe both nights. Something like that. I'm fairly certain. I haven't looked at the website in a month. It did say something like that. Something about 6 p.m. to 11. I know it ended at 11. Yeah. That's all I got. I just know I get my information same as you guys, just from the like quite frankly .tv and from the show What He Says. I'm not getting information from like DMs or another source. Just want to keep it honest. Now, if you remember the end of episode 12, Carolyn told Roger that Liz just wanted to see him, so he goes back to the house, and then as soon as he's out of earshot, Carolyn tells Vicky that, oh, and by the way, Burke's there. So Roger doesn't know what he's walking into. In the very end of the episode, he's reaching for the doorknob, and then we get the credits. So he's not going to have a good time once that door opens. So we're still on day 2. It's night. And we are in the living room. Oh yeah, Patrick. Yeah, he says he's a bit pissed off. I never got there. Yeah, yeah. Pissed off is not the word. I feel you though. Sometimes you just can't win, but getting mad about it won't change the situation. It won't make you feel better about it. So you just have to, just not everything's for you. Uh, it's just the way the ball bounces. Like Puff said, when life gives you lemons, more cowbell. I don't have a cowbell to shake, but it's good advice. So remember, Burke is there. He's being very nice, very polite, and Liz is just, gritting her teeth, being as polite as she has to be, because he's a guest there. It's just very tense. Like you can tell somebody's just waiting for anybody to make the wrong look or say the wrong thing, and a fight's gonna break out. It's like you're on a powder keg in here. So Roger walks in the door to the living room. Burke's right there. I'm sure he's so happy about it. And Burke is so nice still. Roger's there. He's like, "How you doing?" Even extends his hand. Roger just looks at Liz. He doesn't even acknowledge Burke. He just looks at Liz and says, "How long has he been here?" And Liz just says he's there to visit. So, of course, Roger has to go over and pour himself a drink. Because if he didn't need one before, he really needs one now. Uh, Patrick says, "God hopefully has great plans for you in the future." I would like to think so. I really am holding on to the thought that there's, as bad as some things can be, there has to be a flip side to it. So there's got to be something just as good to balance it out coming along. I just don't know what that is. And that's the fun of not being a god. Like, life gets to surprise you. It's okay to not know everything. That way you can be surprised when something good does happen. Yeah, yeah, Burke. He's just back in Collinsport. He just wants to see the town that he spent more than 20 years of his life in. And what happened 10 years ago, that's not important. He's been around the world, and he only had coffee with Victoria because he says she's a charming young lady. And the whole time he's saying this, just Roger and Liz are just, they're not shaking their head, but they are not convinced. They are not buying it whatsoever. Now we get a new location. We haven't seen this before. This is the cottage. This is where Matthew Morgan lives. It's interesting. I forgot about this because we see it from outside. Like there's space for cars to park. It's got more than one story to it. That there's like an extra branch coming off of here. But when we go inside, it's so quaint. It's like brick wall, a fireplace. There's a little like stove there. It might even be a wood burning stove. He's got his little table. It seems it's cozy. It's cozy, but it's small. It's like, well, where's the rest of the house that we saw from the outside? Do we ever get to see the rest of that? If not, I don't have to build it. Yeah, I wrote it's fucking huge from the outside. 2 stories, windows in the attic, mini courtyard, parking area with smaller buildings on both sides. Apparently, she goes in through the kitchen entrance. That's what it looks like a kitchen in there. I guess that's supposed to be the kitchen part of the cottage. Okay, I'll go along with that. So Victoria, she knocks on the door, and Matthew opens it. Now, I didn't say before, but Matthew was played by a fella named George Mitchell. And if you want to look him up, you have to put in George Mitchell actor, or it pulls up some politician I've never heard of. But he's mad. He always seems to be mad. But he's mad to see Victoria because he has to eat when he can. He's got his dinner on. He's got to eat it. But before Liz calls for something, if they call up, he just runs out. He doesn't tell them, "Wait, I'm eating dinner." He just goes. So he's just got to get in there when he can. Like it's evening, but this dude's on a time crunch. I don't know what his schedule's like, but don't interrupt a man when he's eating. I'll tell you that much. But he's like, well, I got to do this, but if you got questions for me, you can sit down and ask them. Ask your questions. Then he asks if Liz knows that she's there. And Victoria's like, oh yeah, she knows. It's like, all right, well, he tells her that Burke Devlin had been tried in Bangor for manslaughter. And Victoria tells him about the money that was sent for her to the foundling home, until she was 16. Getting some information out there. So back in the living room, Roger gets Liz to leave the room. And then the door is closed. He asks Burke why he's really back. And basically, if he comes for the Collins family, he'll fuck him up. In so many words. But Burke sticks to his story. And then he says, if it's something where I'm just sort of like spiffing on what they say, I use one quote, but if it's a direct quote, I use double quotes like it's a proper quote. So Burke is very friendly. Ask Roger, how's your wife? He just asked because he and Roger's wife were pals back in the day. And Roger had married her the day after Burke's conviction. And Roger comments he remembers that Burke is the type to hold grudges. That's another thing, a Scorpio thing. It's not that you hold a grudge, you just can't forget when somebody, a slight against you. Very tense conversation from Roger's end. Back at the cottage, muffins! Shot of muffins on the table. It looks like a variety, too. And Victoria picks one up and says they're good. So Matthew's over there baking some little muffins. Like, hell yeah, you go, man. They look good, too. So Matthew said that Roger and his wife lived in Augusta. They never lived in Collinwood when they were married. And that Roger has been back for a month. So this is when we get confirmation. Before, Liz said she only let Roger come back because of David. So we knew he hadn't been back that long. But just a month. Erica, 14 degrees Celsius is nice. It's not too bad. It's a little bit on the cooler side. It's not winter coat weather. Cranking up the heat. All that crazy winterness. You can probably still drive with the windows down, maybe if it's sunny out. But when it gets into that like 10 degrees Celsius stuff, oh no. So back at the living room, Burke confirms that Liz owns Collinwood and the business, the cannery, the shipping fleet. That's where their main money comes from. And Roger asks, when are you leaving? So Burke asks Roger to meet at the Blue Whale in a couple of hours to talk about business. And back over in the cottage, Matthew's opening up a little bit to Victoria. He's usually very, closed off, doesn't want to be friendly with it, just icy. But he's slowly not being very friendly, just a little bit more talkative, a little bit more accommodating than we've seen him. But he's telling Victoria about the time he took a header off of the road, that windy road going up to Collinwood because of bad brakes. Got a 22.25 there for Patrick, so not so bad. Yeah, I've got a 17.26 on the computer. So right then, Liz phones. There is a phone in the cottage if we're keeping track of phones. Just the one. Yeah, just the one. But it's Liz on the phone, and I guess she's asking for some firewood to be brought up. And during this, Matthew's like, yeah, I'll be right over. I'm just over here talking to Victoria. What? Hangs up. Oh, he's pissed off now. He's like, you lied to me. Did Liz don't know you're here? Get out. He is pissed. So she gets out. So the cottage exit, or the cottage exterior, is right next to the garage. As she's walking out, we can just see one of these like new, whatever a brand new car was going to look like in the mid 60s, just sitting there parked. I'm not a car person. I couldn't tell you what kind. It looks kind of spiffy. So now we get another new location. We're in the garage here at Collinwood. And it's Victoria peeks her head in because she hears something, or there's a light on, but she goes in and looks, and Burke he's just looking at Roger's car. He's not touching it, leaning on it, nothing's opened up. He's just looking at it, admiring it. And Victoria wants to know why he's there. He's like, oh no, it's okay, Roger and I are cool now. And in the living room, Roger, he wants to believe Burke, but he knows he's lying. And he tells Liz that he's supposed to go meet Burke at the Blue Whale to discuss business. So this is when Victoria comes back. They're in the foyer. Liz goes to greet her. And it basically lets her know, Matthew does not fuck around when it comes to Liz. He's very defensive of her. He's very protective of her. And it just basically lets her know, don't piss him off. You don't want to get on this dude's bad side. Just stay out of his way. And Victoria kind of just casually, she agrees, okay, but is Roger going to use his car tonight? And Liz asks why, and no reason. And the credits. That's a good way to end a show. Or an episode. Don't have like one episode or one season of a show and end it up on a cliffhanger and then never come back for a second season. The Pinkertons. So yeah, getting some new locations. Still pitch black out. That's alright. So much happens in a day at Collinwood. So right into episode 14. July 14th, 1966. Day 2. Still. Or night. Well, it's a night, but it's the second day. And in the voiceover, we get Victoria talking about she knows there's a connection to her life at Collinwood. She just doesn't know what. Just a gut instinct. All right, so we are, again, nighttime. We are in David Collins' bedroom. I don't know if we've seen that yet, but it's a nice room. I want to say a couple of the windows have stained glass, like they got, a cross section, so little, triangle stained glass design. It's toys about like what you would expect for a 9-year-old rich kid's bedroom. There's like a desk in front of the camera. I think there might be even a globe, so little just odds and ends. So little pictures on the wall we really can't see. It's nice enough. But what we see, he's taking something out of the dresser. It's like what do I know about cars? It just looks like some little mechanical part. It's let's call it a bleeder valve because that's what it is, and that's it will come up later on. I don't know what that means. I know a car can bleed if it's if oil is blood, then I guess a car can bleed, but I never heard about a spigot for it. Don't know where that goes in a car, but David found it somewhere. So that's why he was so dirty earlier. Okay, covered from head to toe. That's what I thought anyway at the time. So what he does, he's got this valve in his hand. He sneaks down the hall, goes into Victoria's room. Her room is just like down the hall on the other side. And he's opened up this drawer. He's got his hand inside. But that's when Victoria walks in. So he turns around real quick. He's got his hand closed. And she wants to know what he has. She accuses him of stealing. So he runs out. He often does that, just runs away, runs into his room. And I was like, I wonder now, I just wondered to myself how long his mom has been gone. I don't know, it hasn't come up yet. Like, if this kid is not like wadding up paper and throwing it at her and trying to pack her bags and saying he hates her, it's constant with this little kid. It's been a day. Victoria is basically like, have you thought about not being a dick? I'm sure he hasn't. But David's like, no, no, I just wanted to give you. See, it's a seashell. I found it. I'm giving this to you. And he says this because his Aunt Elizabeth told him to be nice to her. Okay, a little sociopath. That's what I wrote too. What a sociopath. Yeah, so genuine emotion right here. So he does that. And Victoria, she leaves his room. She's on her way back to her room. Carolyn comes up, and that's when Victoria shows him the seashell. Shows her the seashell, and Carolyn's like, "Don't believe it. David's a kook." Good word. And she wishes she was going out with Burke Devlin tonight, but remember, it's date night with Joe Haskell. Thunder! First time we get thunder on the show. So at the Blue Whale, Burke comes in and he offers to buy Joe a beer. And Joe's just like, get your information about the Collinses from someone else. It's like, I told them you're suspicious. So he just told Liz everything about what Burke was offering him with the boat and everything like that, and just wanted information. Burke's like, no, 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 I'm all good with the Collinses now. So Joe was just back in there paying his $5 tab from the first night when he got into a fight. He couldn't pay his tab. What's that worth? $5 in 1966. Oh my God. It's $49.85 today. So this dude was just sitting up there drinking $50 worth of beer, started a fight, got kicked out. Not kicked out, but the fight got broken up. Yeah, so a $50 bar tab. I guess that's not so crazy if you're, I don't know, in there a lot. I doubt it was from one night. I don't know how they do. I don't know how the tab system works at the bar. They seem to be pretty cool with extending tabs. Okay, so back at Victoria's room, Carolyn's got, she's coming in. She just wants her opinion on her dress. It's this cute dress. It's got huge pockets. And like, yeah, we're just going out for a movie. It's basically the only thing to do in Collinsport is go to the movies. And she really, kind of mentions that she really wants to run into Burke Devlin. He's different. And then she acts like she's not interested in him. And that's when Victoria mentions that, oh, Roger is going to meet Burke Devlin at the Blue Whale tonight. And Carolyn has to go change her dress suddenly. Oh, Moon Bunny, glad you made it. Says, hi, Nikki in chat. I thought you were going to the Jamboree, Nikki. I couldn't get the funding was not there. It just fell through. Yeah. And just, again, when I left my last job, I didn't realize prices were going to jump up so high. So however long I thought my savings was going to last, I was off. That's just how it goes. So down in the foyer, it's still thunderstorming out. Moon Bunny, yeah, me too. It sucks. Just sometimes nobody wins, and you can't dwell on stuff. You just have to let it go. You can't get mad about stuff if you can't change. That not everything's for you. It's part of being an adult. Um, yeah, that's just how it goes. Patrick, it's over £6 for a pint here, which is expensive. Hot damn, that's a lot. Let's see. 6 GBP in USD. That's $8.11, bruh. For a pint? A pint. Woo! Better be a pint of whiskey. Hot damn. I'm only getting one. I'm calling the taxi now because I'm going to be fucked up. Is it an Irish car bomb? I want you. That would have me effed up. Oh my god. What? I don't get to stand around sober at a party? Just cause I don't drink. So no, it would have been awesome, but so would a lot of other things I didn't get to do. That's okay. I've got Dark Shadows, I've got Minecraft, I've got you guys. We'll be alright. Yeah, again, down in the foyer, thunderstorming out. It's not annoying, too. Like, they have the timing of the thunder right. I don't know who worked this out, but it's never annoying. Sometimes there's lightning flashes if they're by a window. But this is when I didn't realize this until they're like introducing each other. But Victoria and Joe Haskell meet for the first time. I'm like, why are they shaking hands? We're 14 episodes in. They're just meeting. I didn't real. Okay, that's cool. So they get to meet. She takes his coat, tosses it on the table. They don't have hooks. And Joe's just kind of making good conversation. He's known Carolyn since he was a kid. And then, it's like, well, Collinwood's a spooky place. I hope you don't believe in ghosts. And Victoria's like, no. And he's like, yeah, neither do I. And so Carolyn comes bouncing down the stairs. She's so happy. And she's saying to Joe, hey, how about instead of the movies, I really just want to go to the Blue Whale. And Victoria's like, that's not a good idea. But they head out. Patrick, yeah, yet in the shop you'd pay maybe about a pound 40. That's a lot better, dude. That's like happy hour prices, I would assume. So Victoria, she goes upstairs. She's in the hallway, and again, the hallway is you're gonna have it's I'm trying to do it the right way for you. So it's going to be David's room. It's more in the foreground over here. You go down the hallway. Then you've got Victoria's room. But then right there at the far end, there's a door that's always closed, usually. But Victoria's up in the hallway. She looks down it and she sees that door open just enough that there's some light coming through. And then it shuts and locks. And so David pops his head out of the door, his bedroom door. And he lets her know that that door back there, that's always locked and it leads to the rest of Collinwood. But it's been closed over 50 years. And maybe a ghost opened the door. So Victoria's just, whatever, goes into her room. David follows her in there, or he goes and gets something, comes back to her, and he's handed her a magazine, some mechanic magazine, and it just as a gift for her to have. And he says that his father hates him, and says that his mom's very pretty, and that Burke Devlin hates Roger. And Victoria's like, why are you always on about who hates whom? It's like, this is really all he talks about. It really is. I'm glad she brought it up. And he doesn't, he's not going to respond to that. David he wants to be friends with Burke because Burke hates his dad. Like, that's the only reason you like this dude. Oh, okay. He wants to team up, apparently. So now we go to the Blue Whale, and Joe and Carolyn walk in. Burke's already sitting there. And Carolyn, oh, funny seeing Burke in here. Joe's like, it's not funny at all. Like, you can tell as soon as he sees Burke sitting there, he knows that's why she wanted to come there. And he's salty about it. Burke sees him, he's so friendly, offers to buy him around. And then Carolyn asks him to join them at a table. And Joe was very much the third wheel instantly. So over at Collinwood, we're still in the hallway. This hallway is getting some use. David is saying that most people aren't nice. Like, direct quote. And Victoria wants to give Roger some money so he can... Roger Collins. Hell. He wants to give Roger some money for a gift so when he goes into town, he can, buy something for David and just give him a gift, for that magazine that he just gave her. And David asks, is he taking his car? And she says yes. And then he says he doesn't want anything. And we get a shot of the hallway for the credits. Nice. I wonder when they shoot these B-roll shots, are they filming this stuff before the actors come on the set? Is this after everybody's cleared out and they're like, okay, everybody shut up, we've got to film this for a minute for the credits to roll? I just don't know how they do that. Okay, I think this is when I screwed up my notes. So, okay, yeah, this will be fine. All right, I can do this. I'm okay. Episode 15. Episode 15 is July 15, 1966. Wondered when I was going to come across this problem. Didn't I screw up my notes somewhere else later on? I'm thinking of something else. It's all good. It's all good. It's not going to affect this. Cool. Having my hair down in front of me makes me sweat. I didn't realize that. I don't sit like this around the house usually. Yeah, it's still the second day. Got that nighttime thunderstorm going on. And, you know, this is part of the unreliable narrator thing. In the voiceover, it's Victoria talking about she thinks she's made friends with David. Okay. So over at the living room, Roger cannot find his car keys. He's looking under the sofa cushions. He's looking behind chairs. He just cannot find them. And the room is dark. Maybe turn on a light because David's sitting in there in the dark. He asks if Roger still wants to send him away. And then he runs out of the room. Patrick G, 1966. I was 4 years old. Aww. Yeah, you were probably too young to be watching this. It would be crazy if you could remember this from when you were 4 years old. I don't know if I remember anything from when I was 4. It would be cute to see the kind of commercials that are playing in between a show like this. If you've seen 60s commercials, if you watch the Judy Garland show, they have maybe half of the episodes on YouTube. Some of those have like the back of the day commercials in them still. It's so cute. Or like a sponsored by. So Victoria comes downstairs and she's a little bit happy about this. She tells Roger she thinks that David trusts her, and Roger does not care at all what anybody's feelings are towards his son. He could not give a shit whether they're best friends, whether they hate each other. That's not his focus right now. He's looking for his keys. And then he tells Victoria that he wants her to leave because Burke is going to cause trouble for the family. And that's when Liz comes in and says to Roger, when are you leaving? She knows he's got that meeting. And then Victoria mentions, oh, well, Roger's keys are in his car. She saw them there earlier. And she mentions her idea to, give him money to, get a present for her to give to David. And Roger says that you can't buy David's friendship. He has none. So after Roger leaves, Victoria tells Liz that she saw Burke Devlin buy Roger's car. Oh, like people just don't give information to Roger. They tell other people. Like he doesn't need to know that. Oh, cool. Patrick said, no, I think I can remember Batman, though, probably when I was 6. That is so cool. So I know you have, like, little memories from when you were a kid. I know I watched a lot of cartoons and all that. That's awesome. Like He-Man and She-Ra came on, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're basically, just, half an hour long commercials, but they're My Little Pony. That was fun to us. That was cartoons for us. Yeah, later on, Roger does want to meet with Burke because he thinks he might be sincere. As much as he can't believe what he says, I think he just really he doesn't want trouble, so he wants to believe Burke so we can just not have to worry about having somebody just at him and trying to take down the family. So a little bit of a wishful thinking, slightly rose-colored glasses. And Liz was not suspicious of Burke Devlin until he came to the house. And she wants Roger to be as suspicious of Burke as he is of David, his own son. So he's willing to cut Burke some slack, but not David. Patrick said, "Do you remember Wacky Races?" I don't. I swear that was something that was maybe on. I don't know if I watched it, but then South Park did an episode about it, and that slightly brought back. You know what? It's probably something. If I were to watch it on YouTube, it would start to bring back memories. So, like, what can you really remember from being a kid? Like, that sounds like something I might have been into. I mean, if it was animated, I was all there. Back when it was real animation done by humans. If you make an animated, like, I wouldn't consider something like Frozen or Tangled to be an animated movie. That's a CGI movie. But when you use the word animated, to me, that means a human drew it. So, The Little Mermaid, or Beauty and the Beast, or Aladdin from the Disney Renaissance, the only versions of those films Disney made. So up in Victoria's bedroom, David tells her that Roger wants to send him away, and he just wants his father to die. So he goes into his room. And he continues with this. He wants Roger dead because he wants to send him away. And everybody hates him except for his mom and his Aunt Elizabeth. And says he himself isn't nice. He admits it. And he just wants to shoot his dad. He even pulls out a toy gun and points it at the camera. Bang, bang, bang. Like, dude, psycho. He's the last person who needs a toy gun. Patrick asking Moon Bunny, did you like Penelope Pit Stop? And down in the living room, Liz really does not want Roger to go meet Burke. Does not like the idea of this at all. But over in the foyer, David asks Roger if he's taking his car and if he really wants to send him away. He is so nervous about that. And then back over at the living room, Burke Devlin phones, and Liz picks up and just says Roger's on his way. And Victoria comes down. Liz lets her know she doesn't know why Roger hates David so much. I don't know either. And then David's up in his room, and he's just sort of talking to himself. And he's just, just kind of randomly says stuff that he doesn't know a camera's there. But he just says he's going to die. Like it's a premonition or something. And then we see Roger driving, and suddenly, tires screech, camera goes this way, a crash. Totally wipes out. Down. Over in the foyer. Answer the damn phone. Oh my God. But it's Liz, answers the phone. She's distraught, hangs up. Victoria is right there. She tells her Roger was in a car accident. And we get a shot of David's bedroom for the credits. They are good about This is just good storytelling. Sometimes they'll mention like, oh, I don't know who could have done this thing, and then the very next scene, the very next shot is of like the person in question. So I like how this goes, where like, oh, Roger wiped out. What could have caused it? And we get a shot of David's room. Maybe that has something to do with it. Patrick, yeah, Dick Dastardly and Muttley. Moon Bunny asking, wasn't Penelope the one with the blonde hair? Kind of looked like a Barbie. This was either on South Park or Robot Chicken. It must have been South Park. We're talking about two different shows at the same time. the wacky races thing. That's not so bad. All right, cool. All right, episode 16. It must be a new week because this aired on July 18, 1966. So we're not getting that, like, episode number is the same as the day of the month. That's okay. That was just a cute coincidence. We are still on the second day. It's nighttime. We're at the living room. Bill Malloy phones to say that Roger's going to be okay. And Liz thinks it's sabotage. She does not like the coincidence. Apparently his brakes failed. That's why he wiped out. She just doesn't like the fact that Burke was up at Collinwood and suddenly Roger's having a car accident. That's really suspicious. But Victoria is not suspicious of Burke Devlin. She said, Carolyn said he's friendly. Phone rings again. It's Roger, and we don't get to hear him. We just see Liz's reaction, but she's relieved. But he's never had an accident on that road before. Roger must be a good driver. Oh, Patrick said, yeah, that was the posh-looking girl. So now we're in town at the Blue Whale, and Joe is sulking. He's like, I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Just, I wonder how Carolyn and I ended up here. Looks over at Burke. Don't you have an appointment? Burke's like, yeah, here with Roger. And Carolyn wants to just sit and talk with him. And says that Joe is... Maybe she sends him off to get a drink or something like that. She wouldn't talk about this in front of his face, but she says to Burke that Joe is just okay. She doesn't say she's in love with him, but that's the guy she's supposed to be engaged to. She just says he's okay. And asks Burke why he left Collinsport. And Burke says, ask Roger. And Carolyn, she's confused. She doesn't know if she wants to stay in Collinsport or leave. She just doesn't know what she wants to do with herself. Haven't been here for a little bit. We're back at Collinwood in the kitchen. Alyssa's mentioning that Matthew Morgan wiped out at the same spot on that road as Roger 17 years ago. So ever since then, Matthew has just been on about the brakes, just making sure all the cars are tuned up and in good working order. And she says that Collinwood is no place for young people. Yeah, there was a phone in the kitchen. We get to see that then. I told you there was a phone in the kitchen. I knew it. I saw it. I don't know the phone number, but it's there. Patrick, Peter Perfect thought he had a chance with Penelope, lol. Yeah, just because their names start with the same letter. And later on, Liz is telling Matthew about how Roger's brakes failed. And Matthew's very confused about that because he just checked the brakes 2 days ago. And he says he admits he doesn't like Roger, but if he, of course, would never try to kill him. I checked his brake 2 days ago. I don't like that guy. Matthew is just straight up. If he doesn't like somebody, he will just tell you. You don't have to guess what this man is thinking. Gotta love somebody who's just straight up honest like that. Back in town at the Blue Whale, Joe's done. He wants to leave. He didn't even want to go there in the first place. He wanted to go to the movies, and he's just having a bad night. So, of course, Carolyn wants to stay. Then she decides, she offers for Burke Devlin to go with them to the movies. And Joe's had enough. He just leaves. That's too much for him. He just fucks off. And Burke's kind of looking around like it's been a minute. He's getting tired of waiting for Roger. So back at Collinwood in the foyer, phone rings, and Liz is just telling this person like, no, I don't have a statement to give. I don't want to answer any reporter questions, nothing like that. So the reporters already know. They're already calling up. She's not telling them nothing. And Matthew Morgan came back. He had looked at Roger's car. He said the whole side of Roger's car is caved in. Dude must have just smashed into a tree. So the phone rings again. Victoria answers. And Liz doesn't want this spoken of. She's not confirming or denying anything about Roger's crash. But she does want to get in touch with Carolyn, try to find her, let her know what happened with her Uncle Roger. And, maybe I'll call the movie theater and have her paged. And Victoria's like, well, don't do that. She said she wasn't going to the movies. She's not there. I said, well, where is she? It tells her, well, Carolyn went to the Blue Whale to meet Burke Devlin. And Liz says, Carolyn doesn't know what she's doing chasing Burke Devlin. You should have told me. Later on, Victoria comes walking in, and she's got one of those teacups, and it's in pieces, and she's like, I'm sorry, I broke a teacup. That's two. I like these cups. Be careful. Like she was washing it and it broke. That's two now. R.I.P. So Liz calls up the Blue Whale, and they tell her that Carolyn left with Burke Devlin 30 minutes ago. Over in the foyer, the clock chimes 11 p.m. And credits. Patrick said, really funny, Nikki. Maybe it's online when you can watch. I'm sure it must be. They have so many blocks of, it'll be maybe 8 hours long, and it's like Sunday morning or Saturday morning cartoons. They probably have the commercials in there and everything, and they just put them online, or it's something big like maybe like Looney Tunes. Maybe they're streaming 24/7 and showing episodes. I want to say that Mystery Science Theater 3K, the official channel, they're always playing movies. They might be live right now and just going through the whole catalog, playing the show. That's so cool that I don't know what kind of equipment can go live for that many years in a row, but more power to them. It seems like the thunderstorm stopped. So, like, was the road even wet? That's okay. Man, I'm glad I got through that. Those last two episodes. I don't know how I messed up those two episodes where I wrote stuff down, but I got through it. That worked out so much better than I thought it would. Great. I'm awesome. Thought I was going to confuse myself. Episode 17. July 19, 1966. It's still that second day, well, night. We're in the foyer again. It's the clock chiming 11 p.m. This is kind of the first time we have the beginning of an episode repeat something at the end of the last episode, whereas all up until this time, it like one scene ends at the end of an episode, the next scene happens at the beginning of the episode the next day, so we're not getting any repeated information at us yet. But that's okay. It's good to know the time. Yeah, first time something's reshot. I did write that down. And these people seem to go to bed at maybe like 10 p.m. They're all dressed up, but that's fine. So up in David Collins' room, he has a nightmare. He's just tossing and turning, just screaming in his sleep, whatever. So Liz comes in, and he's saying that he didn't mean to kill him. He says that a couple of times. And Liz just, gives him a hug, comforts him. She just, she treats him like a normal little boy. Oh, hell yeah, Patrick. I just checked. They have one site where there's 133 episodes. Cool. Yeah. That's awesome. Makes you just want to get a bowl of cereal. It's not very healthy, but makes you just want to get a bowl of cereal and watch that stuff. All right, this is a new location. We're in it's we see the outside of a building. It's a D Reeves office. So this is some Dr. Reeves. We've never seen this person before. First time they're coming up. But Bill Malloy is in there telling him to take his time with Roger Collins' paperwork because he wants to go look at his car again. So for being a guy that deals with boats all of his life, he seems to know about cars as well. And Roger's there. His left wrist is fucked up. He's got it all wrapped up, so like the actor's really not going to be using his fingers too much this episode. He's got a bandage on his forehead. But other than that, seems fine. Just got rattled up a bit. So that's Dr. Reeves tells Roger that Bill is checking on the brakes on his car. And Roger's like, well, they were fine when I left. And then Dr. Reeves is like, you know what? This reminds me, I treated a guy who died in the same place 10 years ago. But that guy was walking. And just Roger seems kind of upset about that being brought up. I wonder why. That will come up later. Over at Collinwood, David's in his room. And the window just blows open and just bam, smash against. It doesn't break, but it scares him enough to wake him up. And Liz comes in. She's so nice to David and offers to let him sit up and wait for Roger. And back to Dr. Reeves' office. Bill Malloy is back from checking out the brakes on the car. And Dr. Reeves points out that Roger's accident coincides with Burke Devlin's return. Right outside of the door, it's like a doctor's office. It's maybe inside of a house, so there's like a little waiting room just outside of that doctor's office. Oh, Patrick said, I think they did a spinoff as well with Catch the Pigeon. That's what I don't know, but it sounds fun. Are there pigeons? So I guess Bill did the full inspection. He comes back to say that the bleeder valve is missing, and Roger doesn't know anything about cars except to turn the ignition, so it's Greek to him. But that valve can't be removed unless you have a tool to get it out of the car. And Roger thinks it was Burke Devlin. And Dr. Reeve comes out of his office like, you guys are still here? Just like the meme. Okay, if it's not gay when it's in a three-way. And then Gaga comes out eating cereal. You guys are still here. That. Over at the living room, not Roger, but Liz is sitting down there with David. And she's telling him how Isaac Collins arrived in 1690 at Frenchman's Bay. And David asked how Liz felt when her dad died. And Liz is like, that was over 20 years ago. And then David said he doesn't want to see Roger. He doesn't want to see his dad. And just then Roger comes back home. And he wants a drink. So Roger and Liz are talking. David's outside of the door, eavesdropping. And Liz asks Roger if he thinks Burke is involved, because Victoria saw him buy your car. Bill Malloy had, brought Roger home. So Roger hears this. He turns to Bill. What did I tell you? And later on, Bill tells Roger that Liz is worried he's going to retaliate against Burke Devlin. And then Roger heads upstairs. And that is episode 17. Get a shot of the living room for the credits. I really should differentiate. Maybe it doesn't matter. When we get a shot of the living room for the credits, it could be anything. It could be just the windows. It could just be the fireplace. It could be the TV. It could be a wide shot. It could. we get a lot of still shots of that room. It's nice too. It's really nice. Okay, episode 18. July 20th, 1966. And we're still on the second day here, and it's nighttime. Patrick said, I think I'll look this up on YouTube. I think there's a few fair episodes there of Catch the Pigeon or Dark Shadows. Yeah, we're getting another reshot. It starts out in the foyer of Roger going upstairs. I guess we had to see that twice. That's fine. It's maybe 11:50 p.m. Maybe we get a shot of the clock. Sometimes it's just not close enough, and just with how cameras were back then, it's just not going to come through crystal clear. And I'm just doing my best to try to get times. I'm being very careful about that. Patrick, yeah, Dark Shadows. If it's not on YouTube, check out Tubi. I have the link in the description for this show and for the channel description. Totally free. This is Dark Shadows, the beginning. That's episode 1 through 209. And then the one that most people are familiar with, just Dark Shadows, no subtitle. That's episode 210 through episode 1245. Tubi is purple right now. I like that. There are commercials, but the nice thing about a TV show when they add the ads in is they put the ads in during where the commercial breaks would be versus if you watch a regular movie on a free streaming platform, they'll just toss the ads in whenever sometimes. Maybe they wait for a scene to end. Maybe it's the middle of a scene. I don't know. But with Dark Shadows, I never had that happen once. And last I knew, it is on Pluto TV, but they only have episode 210 through something like 858, some arbitrary 8 number. It's not even the whole show. There's some good episodes in there, but up in Victoria's room, but they haven't gotten that shutter fixed in 50 years. It's just slamming against the side of the house. Oh, Patrick said, "Cheers, Nikki. You saw the other day. There's a updated movie. I mean, there was that Dark Shadows movie in 2012, the Tim Burton one, which you kind of don't want to watch the Tim Burton film before I've watched the entire series. Otherwise, there's going to be, not everything lines up. You do have to think of it as a separate timeline, but there might be spoilers in there. And then there's stuff that happens in the movie that does not happen on the show. So it's kind of up to you. It's kind of up to you. It's you can watch all of Dark Shadows. I know it's a lot of episodes, but you can watch all of that so fast, maybe in a couple of months, and then you can watch anything else. You can watch Night of Dark Shadows. You can watch House of Dark Shadows. I don't know if those are online or not, but you do not watch these before you've watched the entire series, because one of them is just a completely separate timeline, and one of them is basically Dark Shadows speed run any percent. Sorry to spoil it. I'm not saying which one is which because I've kind of forgotten. But yeah, that's it. It's gonna you'll know. Like what? Watch the real show. Watch them in order. Watch them in chronological order. Watch the whole show first, and then the movies, and any supplemental media. So Roger goes and just tells Victoria he wants to talk to her downstairs. Patrick, what it is, Tim Burton's American, but they're not married, but they've been together for a lot of years. Helena Bottom Carter, that's his baby mama. She is English. She opens her mouth, it just comes out. So, like, I've always liked her too. She's in it. Yeah, yeah, she's in it. Well, she's in all of his films, isn't she? I like her anyway. She's fine by me. So down in the living room, David says he's sorry, and he asks about Roger's injuries. And he thinks that Roger wants to speak with Victoria because she knows whose fault the accident is. So because of that, Roger knows that he was eavesdropping, so he sends him upstairs to bed. You know you're not supposed to do that. Get upstairs. Patrick, yeah, gotcha. Now, having said that, you can be an American and pick up an English accent. So I don't know where he spends his time. I don't know if he's over there so much that he sounds like when Madonna was living in England for a while and started to pick up the accent. It happens to us. Like when my brain said tomato when I read the word tomato in my head, it said it the English way. I'd only been across the pond for a week, and already my brain was doing that. It was adapting. Tomato. I don't care how you pronounce it. I don't eat those things. So up in Victoria's room, she hasn't gone downstairs yet, but David goes up there and he just blurts things out. There's just no build up to it. He just says stuff completely out of context. But David just blurts out. He says he wasn't involved with Roger's accident. Victoria's like, nobody thinks you are? That's an odd thing to bring up, kid. And then he insists he wasn't involved. He just is on about it. Victoria's like, Okay, yeah, sure, just go to bed, it's late. Like, who asked? And then David's like, well, what if it wasn't an accident? Victoria's like, well, we'll call the cops. Downstairs in the living room, Roger's saying that his brakes were fine earlier, and he was only out to meet Burke Devlin, and he knows it was him, but he can't prove it. And this is what he's saying to Victoria. And then he's like, well, what happened when you saw Burke in the garage? And Victoria says she heard a door slam. Then Roger tells her about that bleeder valve. Then he says, could that have been a hood slamming? And then he says that even a child could have removed that bleeder valve. LOL. But then he freaks out when Victoria says that Burke was holding a wrench when she saw him standing by his car earlier. And Victoria did not know it was an accident until Roger showed her the valve. And she Burke was chill the whole time. So Roger decides to go wait for Burke Devlin at the Collinsport Inn where he's living at the top floor. And Victoria's coming with him so Burke can't deny holding the wrench. It's late, but okay. Oh, Patrick, yeah, just checked. You're right. Burbank, California. I know he's a Virgo. His birthday's 25th of August. I'm like I am the biggest fan of The Nightmare Before Christmas. Do not get me started. Like big Danny Elfman fan and all of that. So you can that's a nice thing about I think that Tim Burton and Danny Elfman might be the best pairing of director and composer in the history of film. Um, I think I would go to bat with that. Okay, now we're back upstairs in the hallway. David creeps up to Victoria's door, and she hears it. You hear those floorboards squeak, and so he goes back to his room. So Victoria's got to get up, goes into David's room, and she tells him, I don't want to have to lock my door. And David is so emo, he's worried about the cops. And then Roger comes up there. He's mad that David is still up. Then he says to Victoria, he's like, let's go, damn it, let's go! Not like that, but Professor Farnsworth, the one episode when they're under the sea. I've never seen him so mad. That's a direct quote from Futurama. Just let's go, damn it, let's go. He was so mad, but Roger's mad. He wants to go. He wants answers. Yeah, Patrick, 4 years older than him, born in 1958. A lot of folks were born in 1958. Oh my God, that's when Bruce Campbell was born. So they're going out. They're down in the foyer now, and Victoria says that she's worried about David, and tells Roger that he should be too. And Roger's like, not tonight. He's like, this has nothing to do with him. And then up in David's bedroom, we can see he's got like a dresser against the. Trying to get it right for you guys. Against the far wall, there's like a top drawer you can pull out, and just like right in there, you can see it's a valve that's maybe 3 inches long, and like about as long as your index finger or middle finger. It's a skinny little valve. Car part. It's not an engine, it's not a tire. And a shot of the foyer for the credits. Not bad. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. These episodes must be very short. I mean, they're all the same length, but that episode only had like 3 actors in it. It had David, Roger, and Victoria. So they did a lot with 3 actors in one episode. Episode 19, July 21st, 1966. We're still on that second day. It is nighttime. We're in the foyer, so being that late at night, everybody's dressed for bed. We got Liz. She's got her hair down. It's like this curly, don't think of my hair when you think about her. Like this curly, shoulder length hair. Bedrobe. Everything's fitted. Everything's in place. I know in real life you don't walk around wearing a full bra at that time, and I guess you would in case somebody comes over. But it's just weird to see somebody in a nightgown and know they've got support on underneath. And now it's like maybe 11:55 p.m. Well, we haven't gotten confirmation it's the next day yet, but it's still that second day, so maybe. A definite maybe. So Bill phones and Liz picks up. Bill is saying that Carolyn and Joe Haskell fought in the Blue Whale. Joe left, then Carolyn left. And Liz is like, with Burke Devlin. And Bill phoned from the Collinsport Inn. And he'll keep looking for Carolyn. Okay, no, now we get the clock chimes. This doesn't make sense. The clock chimes 10 times. But that can't be right because we got confirmation that it was 11 o'clock a couple episodes before. So this is one time you just have to never mind what the show is telling us, because I don't think we travel backwards in time like that. If we're going back in time, it's by a century. It's at least decades. So maybe it just cut off the last 2 chimes. But that's what happened, so that's what I wrote down. So now we're back in town. We're at the Blue Whale. And Sam's there. He's at the bar. And just kind of talking to the other, the drunks, sitting around there. Just like, hey, they drink warm beer in London? And Bill Malloy comes in and he buys Sam a drink. And he asks, have you seen a Carolyn or a Burke around here? And Sam's suspicious of that. He's just like, why would they be together? So he hates the Collins family. Over at the Collinsport Inn, they're in the diner little area. And it's like they're like a couple's been fighting and they're midway through it. They're trying to cool it down. So Joe is just telling Carolyn to drop it, but she doesn't. She's defending Burke Devlin something fierce. Will not he literally just said let it go, and the very next thing out of her mouth is her not letting it go. And I'm sure he's been hearing about this all night, so he's just having the greatest time. And she just doesn't understand. She just acts oblivious to the way her decisions affect other people. But she's defending Burke like she's his lawyer and the man is on trial. And Joe just seems totally fed up by all of this. But then back over at the Blue Whale, Sam buys another round. He mentions he has to pick up Maggie after her shift. And he knows that Carolyn took Burke to Collinwood like they were pals, and she went up to his room, and everybody in Collinsport knows because Mr. Wells told him all about that. So Bill lets him know that Roger was almost killed tonight in a car accident. His first thing Sam says was Burke near the car? And suddenly he has to go. He gets up, he's out of the bar. So back at the Collinsport Inn, it's we don't see anybody there. We just assume maybe there's folks working in the kitchen part. They get hamburgers. Carolyn gets hers rare. It's not a steak. It's a meat patty. I don't know, man. That's a weird one on me. I'm not a wolf hunting down my food like that. I'm not on the carnivore diet, so I would like some not pink. I don't know. I didn't have to eat it. And Joe's mentioned how Carolyn only just acts a certain way whenever he brings up marriage. And then he kind of flat out accuses her. He's like, "You knew Burke was going to be at the Blue Whale." And yeah, she did. She admits it. And Joe says something like he doesn't know what's going to be there for her to run back to. And he says he loves her. And then Carolyn asks for a cup of coffee. And she says it's something along the lines of, "Oh, sorry if I hurt your pride, but I've got to live my life." Like, girl, please. So this is when Sam comes in. He's with Bill Malloy, and Bill, like, right as they're coming in, the other two are finishing up their, fight and heading out. So Bill gets on the phone and he tells Liz that Carolyn is on her way home and Joe is bringing her. And apparently Maggie is not there. She's went home with a headache. And then Sam wants to explain why he was, so upset at the Blue Whale. And Bill just figured it was because Sam thought that Burke messed with Roger's brakes and then was coming after him next. Sam's like, "What the fuck? That's not funny." He wishes Burke Devlin never came back to Collinsport. He kind of says it as a joke, like, "Well, I guess you thought that, Burke, sabotaged Roger's car and it was coming after you." I don't joke about that. Patrick, yeah, hopefully more people watch this later. End of work time there, though, even though afternoon for some. It is an odd time. I can only say I'm live at 5 p.m. so much. I realize people do, they can't, "Oh, I have to get off work early because Nikki's going live." So, yeah, I understand. These stay up. A lot of the views I get, like about half of them I'll get live, and then the other half I get in the following days because folks catch these after the fact. So it's not so. I realize it's not like you don't take it personally. I understand people have work, or maybe they're just not in the mood for it right when it's live. So it's like, I'll watch it an hour after it starts. Some things I do that for. I'll wait until it's not live. Just because Puff brings that cowbell a lot, and sometimes I have to skip forward through that, and I can't do it when he's live, so I can't always watch him live. I got a notification, but it wasn't for anything, quite frankly. That was just something for Puff. Okay. I guess he's going live. Okay. Something I can't watch live. It just depends. So back over at Collinwood in the foyer. This is when Carolyn apologizes to Joe just for the way she's been acting tonight. So Liz comes in. She was so worried. But Carolyn asks about Roger and then runs upstairs. So Liz and Joe, they go into the living room. And Liz asks, like, are you sure Carolyn went to the Blue Whale because of Burke Devlin? Was she friendly with him? And Joe's like, yeah, but I mean, she likes to be friendly with people, but Burke's an interesting guy. And then he says, they took a ride. And Liz is like, well, that interesting guy almost killed someone. So Roger, not Roger, but Carolyn comes in and she's like, well, Roger isn't here. And Liz asks Joe to check the garage. And then Liz tells Carolyn that Roger went to meet Burke Devlin and then accuses her of doing the same at the Blue Whale. Tells her that Burke tried to kill Roger since the brakes failed after his visit. Carolyn's skeptical. She's like, sauce. Like, what's your proof? Joe comes back in. He's like, Roger's car is gone, but he was just there to drop off Carolyn, so he takes off himself. And Liz is telling Carolyn now that Burke was convicted of manslaughter 10 years ago, and he went to prison. Roger was a witness, so Burke swore he would destroy the Collins family, and that's why Burke would want to kill Roger. And Carolyn hears all this, and she says, Burke Devlin couldn't do that. Okay, I did say this credit shot. It's a shot of the foyer from the living room, so it's like when the camera is looking through that one window, and we can see the foyer. It's a shot like that. Oh, Patrick said, we appreciate all you do, Nikki. Lucky for me, it's evening time. Yeah, it's cool. I just really like this show so much. It's so much fun to watch myself talk about it because it's almost like I get to watch it again and low key remember what I saw, and it's less stress watching me back because I don't have to remember anything. It's a fun show. So much little stuff happens, even in like you might not think a lot happens in the episode, but look out for stuff. All these actors are very good. They've either done like stage before, they've been in movies before. I don't know what some of these younger actors have done. Maybe it's one of their first acting gigs, but everybody knows what they're doing. Sometimes we will get some actors and you can tell that they are looking at the camera because they're looking for the teleprompter a lot. Sometimes they hide it well, sometimes they don't. You have to forgive them. Sometimes they really trip over their lines, and it's kind of funny. Even David Collins, for being a little kid, he's a very good child actor. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Episode 20 seems kind of long. I don't know if I can get through that in 20 minutes. That's okay. I can pick up with, if I did 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's like 7 episodes in one show. That's not bad. I think I can hold off and just start with episode 20 tomorrow. So I'm not rushing through this. It's just that it's, let's see, one, two, three, almost 3 full pages. Yeah. That's a good place to stop it off at. Yeah, so it'll be, I don't think we'll be on the next day quite yet. Again, this is a show where a lot seems to happen sometimes in the span of a few hours. Like the sun sets, and suddenly we get 10 episodes that cover between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. It's just we're getting like people are traveling around. Collinwood is not, or Collinsport is not that big of a place. It seems like you can get from Collinwood to anywhere in town, like the inn or the shops or like the Evans Cottage, within 10 minutes. If people are taking longer, like they might take 15 minutes, you can probably if you drive a half an hour out of town, you're probably 15 minutes out of town by the time you stop. So it's this very tiny area. It's a small, quiet town. Patrick, you did great. Nikki, thanks. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for listening. They're turning out pretty well. I like how, again, especially after watching later episodes, it's so cute to see how it starts out so innocent, and this is how people meet, and this is how they interact, and then you try not to think about what happens later, but you sort of are. It's like, I can't believe these folks are acting this way to each other when later on they're acting a different way. Or like, wow, what would have made these two characters hate each other and then get along, or vice versa. Like they can't stand each other. Why are they working together? And then you get to that one episode, it's like, that's I'd never thought of that. That is messed up. So it's not a big place. Maybe there are some more places that are a little bit farther out of town, but unless they specifically say how long it takes to get to a place, or we're seeing like clocks and people mentioning times, we really don't know. But it's not. Like for me, I could drive 10 minutes and be at Walmart. Um, I don't really deal with traffic too much because I go out early, so it's not like it's very far. Like maybe if there was traffic, it would take 15 minutes, but like 10. It's maybe 3 songs away. It's not far. So it's that kind of a place. It also seems like a place where you can just walk to the shops and all that. You don't necessarily have to have a car, but with Collinwood being up on this big windy hill, it helps out. Unless you don't have good brakes and you happen to wipe out, there must just be one part of the road that's either steeper or it's got like a sharper turn, because that's where Roger wiped out. That's where, like the Dr. Reeves was saying, there was an accident there. We never exactly. The most we see of that road is probably later on some trees, a curb, and grass, possibly at night. So it's not like we're ever gonna get like a shot of like the area. It's nothing. It probably doesn't exist in real life like that. So they didn't bother to go out and film something that was a windy road as B-roll to show on the show. Anytime you see people driving, it's like hands here, and they're looking at the other person in the car so much that it's not believable, and like the lights going by, wiper blades will be going if it's raining, but the windshield never gets wet. That's how they have to do it there. The most realistic sitting in a car shots you've ever seen that don't have green screen behind them. So you can tell it's not real. It's not. They do better. If you want to see really bad fake driving, watch the spoilers for Breakfast at Tiffany's. Spoilers for the end of a film that came out in 1961. How can you not have seen this movie? But when they're at the very end and he gets her out of jail and they're just driving and she's putting on her lipstick, and dude's talking about, oh, I got this telegram from the Brazilian guy, and he's basically like rejecting her as a fiance kind of a thing. Watch the taxi driver. This dude is sitting there. He's got his hands like your hands are not like clenched, they're kind of open like that. So he's got his hands like that because they have to be open like that. His arms do not move, but you sure do see the steering wheel. Dude was not even trying. Like if Audrey Hepburn was in the shot with me, I would know nobody was looking at me. So I've seen that movie enough to like notice of some little things. So that's why I noticed that. And dude is seriously a statue. like this, and the steering wheel of the whole. It's supposed to be a serious scene. It is because it's the end of the movie, and then you look at that and you start to giggle like, nobody. What's up, John Rogers? Glad you made it. Like, I know they paid attention to the editing, but they sort of realized, folks were going to watch that in the movie a few times, and again, look at Audrey and then the guy, and not look at the driver. So I understand why they let that slide, but you watch it later on, you're like, wait, movie magic. Patrick, I'm lucky there's lots of shops within a 10-minute walk from me. Yes, there's not. If there were any stores near me, it's more than a 10-minute walk, and they're probably way overpriced because this is the side of town with Cedar Point. So if you're going to put gas in your car, drive to another part of town and save it at least 5 cents a gallon, because they seriously do just jack up the price of absolutely everything on Cleveland Road just because everybody has to funnel in to go to Cedar Point. Yeah, I've never lived at there was a, like when we were kids, we used to walk up to, it was called IGA. They tore it down and put a parking lot there up. Fucking hospital. But like we used to walk up there. It was a few blocks away, but it was always a group of us kids. We'd like go up there and get our ice cream and candy and little, junky toys, whatever was popular. Back then, we all wore like the rings with the eye on it. That was hot. So we're like the pacifier necklaces. Back when that was a thing. Had to have that. You weren't cool unless you wore a fake plastic pacifier around your neck as a teenager. Yeah, I kept looking to see if Frank was gonna post a oh, well, when you set up a live show, it's just sitting there in your subscription, so you can see something's coming up. But it seems like he's not. I understand why too. If you have a bunch of folks around, you're not trying to stick to a hard schedule. So I'm sure he's not sitting there like, okay, exactly at 7 p.m. I'm gonna go live. So maybe 7 ish. He's gonna go live and just do whatever he has planned. Again, I know he went live last night for about an hour. I was not in the headspace for that. I don't know what. I don't know if he explained any more about what he's going to be doing today, last night. I just don't have that information. John Rogers, 303 a gallon. Like the only time it's okay for gas to be over $3 is during tourist season, which is still now. So, I mean, it could be worse. We're usually like, two something a gallon in the off season around here. It's not, we don't get the too insane crazy gas prices. I'm so pissed off they closed my gas station. I used to go to the gas station at Walmart, that Murphy gas station, and I guess they just tore them all up. It's like I've got these fuel points. WTF? I could have gotten free like candy bars and soda and gasoline or whatever, assholes. Um, but gas was always cheapest there. If the gas was going to go up in town, the last place to raise their prices was that gas station, so you could save a few cents back there. But now I just go to Meyer because it's basically on the way, which is fine. They were playing some good music in there one day. What was it? I swear it was like some Bill Withers or something. I was like, dude, you guys are chilling up in here. Maybe it was Ain't No Sunshine or something. I was like, dude, cool song. Sons of biscuits. And they're doing something back there at Walmart. I don't know what. If they're going to turn it into something else, or I don't know what. I thought it was just closed and they were going to put in the electric signs because there was no signage up for a price. And then I actually drove back over there a little ways and they had like a chain link fence all around it. And it was lined with coolers when you went up to pay. Those were just gone. I'm like, oh, that's a bad sign. Couldn't go in there in the winter all the time because it was the back of the building was facing east, so sometimes all of that would be ice, and I'm not going to slip and fall. So I would like pull up to go get my gas, and I paid with cash, so I would go up there to prepay, And if I saw the ice, I got back in my car and was not getting gas that day. Nope, it's not worth slipping and falling. It can wait. And they do say to keep your gas tank at least half full in the wintertime, just in case, you get stuck in some snow, you got to spin your tires and burn up the gas to get out. You don't want to be sitting there on an eighth of a tank trying to do that. But that's all right. It's, as far as gas prices go, they don't. When people talk, oh, it's $8 a gallon out in California or somewhere, it's like, yeah, that's what you get. It's all the same gasoline, man. Yeah, I guess Frank's just gonna go live whenever and just drop it on folks. That's fine. Okay. I'm just surprised there's not a. I'm just a little bit surprised there's not a notification that like, hey, going live at a certain time with like a custom something. I don't expect it. I didn't. It's not my event to plan or anything like that. I don't know. That's all right. I just hope folks are having a good time and everybody had a safe trip up there and a safe trip home and everybody gets a full and there would possibly be blueberry ice cream there. I know there's bacon. Um, Frank had to make sure he had. There was something about getting insurance for the event, but he has insurance on the studio, and that is covering the event. So there's coffee insurance and magician insurance. So if he makes a car disappear or a boat, like some kind of Philadelphia experiment type of a thing, that's covered. Uh, Volcano insurance. I wonder if he has earthquake insurance. Do you need earthquake insurance up in New York and New Jersey now, considering all the earthquakes that just sort of happen now? Is that going to be a thing? That's what those tall buildings need is earthquakes. That seems so safe. Wow. So I hope they don't have any earthquakes. Last I knew, there's going to be a full moon. Not tomorrow, but the next day. So if they have any werewolves there, could be an interesting time. Uh, not wishing for folks to get chewed up by fictional creatures. I don't know. I'm not there to stop it if it does happen. So they're on their own. It should be fine. Yeah, John Rogers. Yeah, no doubt. It should be okay. They're all good. It's all Franklies too. It's not like anybody's gonna go in there cutting up. Folks that had to buy a ticket, Frank had to put them through a background check. I'm sure just to make sure they weren't like just recently unincarcerated or I don't know what I'm specifically looking for, an arsonist or something. Just making sure they're not crazy, anything like that. So he just doesn't want any trouble there. It makes sense when you're getting people from all over the. I don't know how far people are coming from. If anybody say came across the pond or how far anybody had to fly or anything like that. It's not a competition. It's just the fact that everybody gets to be there and meet everybody is the reward. So whatever pathways you had to go through, it's gonna pale in comparison to actually being there and meeting Franklies and talking with people in a way that it's different to talk to people in real life. Sometimes it's worse because it's awkward because you have to worry about like how you're standing and where you're looking, but sometimes it's better. And yeah, that's it's all good. And then one day Frank's gonna have a tour bus so he can do a show from the road and tour around and meet people. So it won't have to be localized in one area. And that'll be a thing. But before Franklyville gets built, and then he'll be stuck in one place in Montana or somewhere, wherever they're gonna build it. So that's good. Just me personally, I needed a lot more, and by a lot more, I mean like at least like a year's worth of notice to. I didn't know the prices of everything were gonna go up, man. I didn't know my equipment was gonna die and all this other stuff. So yeah, just not everything works out in your favor. Uh, it just is what it is. Hope folks are having a good time and they have good stories to tell and take pictures and I as much as I don't like leftovers, I would seriously be like with my little, like this styrofoam to go container, like plastic baggie, like, is there any leftover? How's that steak cooked? A medium? My favorite. I'll heat this up later. Steak is awesome. How do you microwave a baked potato? I just remember that. I've never done that before. Do you just put it in there for a few minutes? I know you can't microwave an egg, but you just put it in there for a couple minutes, and I don't want it to explode. Is what it is. Then I just got to clean something up, and I'm burning calories I should have been eating. So, but you just nuke it, right? I'll find out. I'll find out the hard way. It better worked out. Damn it, I paid for it. Patrick said, we all love you, Nikki. You'll be going sometime in the future, no doubt. Hey, it's, if you don't get to meet the people you want to meet when you're alive, you can always meet them up in heaven. It's not the end of the world. Sometimes that's just how it is. There's lots of folks that I didn't get a chance to meet in real life that I have to wait until I die to meet, and like Chris Farley. So that's just more folks you just gotta wait to meet up in Lava Lamp Heaven. If it doesn't work out, and maybe that's better in a way because you can look however you want after you're dead. So like no frizzy hair, all of the time, no static in the audio. I don't know how to get rid of that. I try to look it up. Everything I look up, it does not make sense. Maybe I'll try again tomorrow. Maybe I just didn't have enough time before I went live. But yeah, you guys are awesome. Thanks for showing up. I hope you like Dark Shadows. Link is in the description of the channel and the show. It's free on Tubi. You can watch it right now. The only time you can't watch it is if there's an inauguration or a game like basketball or some stupid stuff. You try to sign into Tubi. You can't see your own stuff, but you can see like the kids' stuff. So, but other than that, it's available 24/7. I assume in every country on most video watching stations. That's probably that's Puff. That's not Frank. Patrick, don't know if I'll make it to heaven. What will be, will be. Oh, you'll get there. You'll get there. Yeah, you realize like the bad, nasty things people are doing. All those folks are going to hell. If you're not as bad as a politician, I think you're doing okay. And if you're frankly, you can't be bad people. You can't be that bad of a person if you found the show. So you've got good qualities. I wouldn't put you down there. No, not Patrick. He's got the same birthday as another Frankly. You can't do that to him. So yeah, I do want to make sure this wraps up on time, just in case Frank does go live right at 7 and just surprises us all with it. So you can check him out, check them out. I won't know who anybody is because I wasn't there to meet anybody. So and I doubt Frank's gonna make folks wear name tags. I just again, it would be like when we had to go to Rumble for a week and I didn't recognize anybody because nobody had the same screen name. So I just felt like I was in a room full of strangers and it just felt really lonely. And I always feel lonely. I don't want to put myself through that anymore than I already have to live with. So yeah, enjoy watching that. I hope the folks there have a good time. I'll be right back here in 24 hours. A minute from now. I'll be live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, my time. So midnight for the UK. Doing some more Dark Shadows. And just finishing up these. It'll be like 3 days in a row. It's fun. It's fun to do. It's fun to see you guys so much. If you guys are having a good time, I'm having a good time. So, yeah, let the good times roll. Smash the like button if you had a good time. Love seeing you guys again. Stay frankly, stay based. You can keep your pants on the floor if you're going to be back tomorrow. Have some good food, get some good sleep, smoke out on the balcony. Love you guys. You're the best. You guys let me do something I've always wanted to do, which is be in front of a camera. So thank you for giving me this. I wouldn't have anything without the Franklies. I wish I could do something to pay everybody back. So Russell, hey, what's up? Have a great weekend. Nikki, you too. Take it easy. Have a great weekend. Have fun. Stay safe. Travel safe. Lock your safe. Have safe sex. Always have safe sex. Always cast barrier. But yeah, I love you guys again. I know I'm repeating myself. I will check you out 24 hours from now. So take it easy. You guys are the best. And until next time.